I'm fully prepared for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment that legal letter was sent, I knew exactly what it meant. That was fear. And once I saw that, I felt it was time for people to see who Jay-Z really is. In my view, he and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. The only difference is Jay hides his control and arrogance behind a cleaner public image. This feud didn't start yesterday. It's been going on for nearly 20 years, and I've seen how he moves in the shadows. I've even questioned whether certain symbolic gestures like that so-called funeral bouquet were really Diddy's idea at all, or Jay-Z acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that viral video of Jay-Z in a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and suddenly his lawyers were contacting me. That reaction said everything. Around the same time, Nicki was reportedly working non-stop to help build his platform, yet there have long been allegations that millions in her royalties, figures as high as $7.90 million, were never properly paid out. Those claims have never been fully resolved in the public eye. Over the years, his name keeps popping up around key moments. The elevator incident, guest lists at Diddy's parties, industry power plays, but somehow, he always walks away untouched. That's what people say he does best. Pulls strings behind the scenes while...
I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is. He and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. He just hides his arrogance and control behind a cleaner image. Our feud has lasted 20 years, and I know better than anyone what he's done in the shadows. I even suspect that so-called funeral bouquet wasn't Diddy's idea at all, but Jay-Z acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that video of him wearing a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and he got so nervous he had his lawyers threaten me. In 2015, Nicki worked her ass off helping him build his platform, and he allegedly pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. And then there's his fingerprints all over key incidents through the years, whether it's the elevator footage or the guest list at Diddy's parties. He was involved, clearly, but somehow he always walks away untouched. That's what he's best at, pulling strings behind the scenes while pretending to be spotless in public. And now that a corner of the darkness has been ripped open, I'm not stopping. Everything my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone, it's about making sure the truth can't be buried by him ever again.
Jay-Z ain't answering the phone?
He ain't answering the motherfucking phone.
Yeah, it's like this, like
We had a black billionaires lunch.
black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch, you're like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together and we gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Presenting himself as spotless in public. Now that part of this darkness has been exposed, I'm not stopping. What my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone. It's about making sure the truth can't be buried again. Silence only works when people are scared to talk, and that era is ending. There's a bigger conversation here about power, image, and so-called black excellence. Billionaires standing shoulder to shoulder, protecting each other, pretending nothing is happening while people inside the system, men and women, are still trapped. That's the part that gets lost. 50 Cent has said repeatedly that he was never part of Diddy's inner circle. He's explained that certain invitations and situations made him uncomfortable years ago, which is why he kept his distance. That distance, according to him, is exactly why he feels confident speaking now. When the allegations against Diddy became public, 50 said he learned about them the same way everyone else did, through the news. But none of it surprised him. Jaguar Wright has gone even further. She has claimed that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy, alleging that he committed acts against women that rival or exceed what the public has already seen. She has said she has scars to prove it and has alleged that Jay-Z attacked her. And
Sean Carter aided and abetted or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still trapped inside the machine.
That it was recorded, similar to the allegations surrounding Diddy. Jay-Z has denied wrongdoing, but these claims are part of why, according to some, he has quietly distanced himself from Diddy to avoid being caught in the fallout. There have also been long circulating accusations tying Jay-Z to the death of Kathy White, allegations he has never been charged over and has denied. Still, as the spotlight intensified on Diddy, attention inevitably began shifting toward Jay-Z, especially because of his silence. For many, that silence raised questions. Some believe Jay-Z's team has been aware for years that his name appears in civil discussions and industry whispers, and that staying quiet is a calculated move, waiting for the storm to pass without drawing attention. To close, here's the clip of Jaguar Wright explaining why she believes
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. That Cassie shit, that's nothing. I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And you're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that give him in the end.
Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. Watch it, take it in, and let me know what you think in the comments, because whether people want to admit it or not, this story is far from finished. Others worried that even without charges, the damage to Jay-Z's reputation was already underway. Social media only amplified it. Rumors spread that people who raised allegations were being silenced, intimidated, or pressured to back down. That fear is exactly what one of Jay-Z's accusers has now claimed. Even though she dropped her lawsuit, she says she still stands by her story and only withdrew because of harassment and fear. According to new legal filings, she alleges that Jay-Z, or people acting on his behalf, bullied her into saying her accusations were false.
Well, did he start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy, I know that. You and Jay-Z down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby, while he was married to Beyonce. Was it an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you... Oh, Diddy, you should talk.
In those documents, Jane Doe claims she was recently approached outside her home by two individuals who identified themselves as investigators working for one of Jay-Z's attorneys. She says they tried to pressure her into signing an affidavit stating her claims were untrue. She refused. She also alleges they questioned her about whether her lawyer, Tony Busby, sought her out and offered her money to pursue false allegations, something she denies. What shook her most, she says, was how they found her. Her identity had remained anonymous in both media coverage and court filings. She later claimed her parents were also approached by investigators asking similar questions. According to her, that was the breaking point. She says she dropped the lawsuit because she feared being publicly exposed, harassed, or worse. Industry insiders say even one criminal investigation could change everything. Not just for Diddy, but for anyone closely connected to him. That's why many believe 50 Cent's documentary matters. It isn't just about one person, it's about how power operated behind the scenes, who knew what, and who might be pulled into the spotlight next. There's also growing speculation about how Diddy remained protected for so long. Some believe he surrounded himself with powerful allies and control.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it. But I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So, I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I ain't know anything about that, man. I ain't know about, Jay touching his, apples. I gotta go see the video. I ain't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pac is 1A, 1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with him.
I'm never a fan of somebody that I was gonna knock out.
Controlled information. Others claim that, as pressure mounted, Diddy may have begun cooperating with authorities to lessen his own situation. That's where the most explosive rumor enters, that Diddy could be talking, and that Jay-Z's name may be part of it. Some commentators say if Diddy is cooperating, the only thing that really matters is what he knows about Kathy Corey White. White, who was alleged to have been romantically involved with Jay-Z, died in 2001. Her death was...
That's how these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they've done because they're on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you gotta understand, like, now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating in his early 30s? You're not gonna go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you gotta understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. If they 17, 18, 16 years old, and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mama and them need to check them, they daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s, and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, that's a problem, that's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim, and now he claiming them. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where is that you can get on YouTube and you can talk about this and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats. They entertainers.
Ruled an aneurysm, but speculation has lingered for decades. Since the documentary's release, one thing is clear. This isn't just about revisiting the past. It's about what happens next. Every new detail brings more attention to the people who stayed silent, especially Jay-Z. That focus intensified when Gene Deal reacted to Jay-Z's lawyer claiming Jay and Diddy were never close. From Gene's perspective, that statement made no sense. He recalled moments on stage where Diddy publicly showed familiarity with Jay-Z, even saying only Jay-Z could call him Sean. To Gene, that wasn't casual. It was...
It's just odd to see him in that, in that, getting looked at in that way by white people. Like Jay does, yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media. Like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him. But like, Drink Champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne, because those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now, because they on his head. But the question is why? Like why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. You're not gonna win. Let's get a deposition or something. So I don't know why they on his head so much. Pause. But I never seen him, under this, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, like I said, for me, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him if he is innocent. He needs to let people ask him questions. And he needs to be able to say his side of the story, as opposed to letting that lawyer talk.
Intimate industry closeness. He also pointed out how often the two appeared together, how relaxed they were around each other, and how that closeness was visible to anyone paying attention. Even 50 Cent has publicly referenced those moments, keeping old clips circulating online. When asked if his criticism was personal, Gene said it wasn't about fandom. He explained that some people at the top move through situations, create damage, and then forget about it, because they're operating in a different world altogether. In Gene's view, power changes perspective. Actions that would haunt ordinary people barely register to those at the top. And that, he says, is why so many questions remain unanswered. Questions that are now being asked louder than ever. Gene Deal says context matters when people talk about ages and appearances back then. He explains that a lot of people are...
I don't think I would have said that he didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's going to trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when did you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator? But that was nothing. But I've never seen him under the fire ever. Not in a long time. Not like, I've never seen people on his head like that, Paul. Ever.
Yeah, this might be my first time seeing people come at him like this.
Like I said, I didn't hear him say anything. Like, I'm not some white man speaking for another black man doesn't add up. It just doesn't work like that. Like, he doesn't know what to say on Jay's behalf. Jay would have to say that. So if he instructed him to say that, like, you don't even know if Jay told him to say that. He could have got off the stage and they was like, why'd you say that? He was like, I had to. Like, he probably said it because homeboy wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like, I didn't hear him say anything. I haven't heard Jay say a word yet. Have you?
Nah, I haven't heard him say anything.
There it is. So y'all going by a piece of paper with words. Don't get caught up in that. I have not heard him say one thing yet. You know, until I see him speak, he hasn't spoke to me. That's why I said I don't think he did not say that. His lawyer said it. So what else is a lawyer gonna say? You know what I'm saying?
Around the industry didn't actually know how old Jay-Z or others really were. They looked young, clean-shaven, low cuts, no obvious signs of age. So if you saw a man with a younger woman, you might assume he was early 20s, not pushing 30. But Gene says that assumption changes everything once the truth comes out. If someone is actually in their 30s dealing with girls who are 16, 17, or 18, that's no longer a misunderstanding. It's a problem. That's where the issue becomes serious. He adds that people didn't question it then, but now, with hindsight, and with Jay-Z raising daughters of his own, the optics...
And there was this one part where 50 was talking, and he was saying, yeah, when Yayo was locked up, every G-Unit show, we actually put aside the money.
Bro, I told
for him, and he had like a... He's like, yeah, I had like $1 million.
Right. I just told you when I came out of my building, I see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
There was no way I was getting shot there. And this is what I kind of tell you is like, we was talking about stacks with the Porsche. 50's not gonna let you say, get the Porsche. He gonna say, let's get him out the hood first. You know, if the money's there, but the money has to be there for you to live like that. The money's there. 50 didn't have to do that. Rest in peace to Hervé from Interscope, because he always said to me, man, 50 do more for you than any artist, than anybody does for their artists. More than Jay-Z. Young Guns is right there.
Look very different. According to Gene, a lot of behavior in the industry went unchecked because nobody spoke on it. Now that platforms exist where people can say what they saw, heard, or experienced, some powerful figures see that as a threat. But Gene is clear. These aren't street guys, they're entertainers. And entertainers rely on image. Dame Dash, Jay-Z's former best friend and business partner, recently weighed in as well. What stood out to him wasn't just the accusations, but the reaction. Dame says he's never seen Jay-Z face this level of public scrutiny before, especially not from mainstream white media.
He says to people, he goes into boardrooms and says to people, which I will never say, is he says, it's important for me to be a billionaire, you know, because Black people need to be billionaires. And why does specifically he, at that time, I've had this conversation with white money people when they go, you know, it's important that Jay-Z becomes a billionaire. And I go, why? And they said, because he wants to open up a casino. You know, he wants to open up this, he should have an alcoholic brand. He needs to have a casino. He needs to have this. And you're like, why the fuck does anybody need a casino? Like another fucking casino
money
in this world.
And it makes it very possible for people to launder money all day.
Yeah. So like, why, even the fact that you want to become so powerful, then you're not saying because he needs to build schools for Black people in Black neighborhoods. It's because he wanted to build casinos for Black people.
For them to keep wasting their money and then for him to keep
giving
them overpriced merchandise. It's a rat trap.
Yeah.
All of it is. The sad part is that hip hop has now turned itself over to this greed machine and doesn't realize it's time to unplug.
Decades, Dame says, Jay-Z seemed untouchable. He always got a pass. This time feels different. Dame points out that while Jay-Z may have influence over Black media through business ties and relationships, that protection doesn't extend the same way to outlets like People Magazine or Entertainment Tonight. And now, those outlets are paying attention. Dame questions the strategy. If Jay-Z is innocent, why not speak directly? Why allow lawyers to do all the talking? From Dame's perspective, silence is doing more harm than good. He believes Jay-Z should answer questions himself instead of letting statements come through legal channels. Dame also criticized the claim that Jay-Z and Diddy were never close. He felt that distancing was extreme and unnecessary and likely to trigger backlash. To him, denying a well-documented friendship doesn't look like protection. It looks defensive. What struck Dame the most is that this is the first time he can remember Jay-Z being truly on his heels. Outside of isolated moments, like
why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D-Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D-Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D-Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
the infamous elevator incident. Jay-Z has never had to explain himself publicly like this. Dame says he's never seen people come at Jay-Z this hard, this openly, or this persistently. He also made a key distinction. Jay-Z himself hasn't spoken. Everything people are reacting to comes from paperwork and lawyers. Dame warns against confusing legal statements with personal truth. Until Jay-Z speaks directly, Dame says, people are reacting to silence, and silence leaves room for speculation. In Dame's view, that's the real shift. For the first time in his career, Jay-Z isn't controlling the narrative. And that alone signals that something has changed. For most of his career, Jay-Z has rarely had to explain himself publicly. According to Dame Dash, that's what makes this moment different. For the first time, the pressure isn't isolated or passing, it's constant. And that raises a bigger question. Why does 50 Cent seem so locked in on exposing Jay-Z? History with Diddy alone doesn't fully explain it. According to Tony Yayo, the tension between 50 and Jay-Z goes back years and is rooted in competition, loyalty, and how each man moves within hip-hop. Yayo explains that hip-hop has always been competitive. Artists clash, egos collide, and rivalries form. But there are moments when people mature and move forward. He points to a recent show where 50 performed with Dr. Dre and Cameron unexpectedly joined him on stage. Years earlier, they had real issues, but that moment showed growth. Cameron recently said that Jay-Z loves business more than hip-hop culture, and Yayo understands why people feel that way. He says Jay-Z shows up for high-profile corporate events, but doesn't always show the same presence for hip-hop moments that matter deeply to artists. Yayo contrasted that with how 50 Cent moves. He recalled how, when Yayo was incarcerated, 50 put money aside from every G-Unit show so that Yayo would come home financially secure. Yayo says it added up to nearly $1 million. To him, that says everything about leadership. He explained it this way: 50 doesn't tell people to buy luxury cars first. He says, let's get you out the hood first. The lifestyle comes after stability, and 50 didn't have to do that, he chose to. Even record executives told Yayo that 50 did more for his artists than many industry giants ever did. Yayo believes the real difference between Jay-Z and 50 is approachability. Jay-Z operates on an elite level, but he's distant. 50, despite being just as powerful, still shows up. He stays connected to his people and remembers who helped build him. Then came the moment that stuck with Yayo the most. He said,
I believe Puff felt they was close. But if you was a person on the outside looking in, like me and Uncle Paulie used to always talk about it, me and D-Rock would talk about, yo, why Puff kind of like sucking Jay off so much? You know what I'm saying? Because you'd be like, we done flew to 5 or 6, 7 different concerts that Jay-Z has. But Jay-Z is not at one of Puff's shows. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Rock brunch where Puff will break his neck to get to the brunch, but Jay-Z don't pop up at any of Puff parties. You know, now I can only speak up until 2012. You know what I'm saying? And Puff was breaking his neck. Like, at the end of the day, in our mind, we say, yo, he ain't even invite Puff to his wedding. When he married Beyonce, Steve Stout and all of them was there. You know what I'm saying? And Puff was kind of in his feelings, but once again.
Oh, Puff was upset he didn't get invited to the wedding?
Of course he was. You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, we're security, so we're bottom on a tote pole. So he's not going to show you that it really affects him until you have a little conversation with him, or you say something, or you overhear something. But he didn't get invited to that, you know. Yeah, Jay came through every once in a while. Like if we was in a yacht in San Tropez or one of these places like that, Jay might ride up. You know what I'm saying? And it's more or less to show, yeah, I got a yacht too.
Jay-Z allegedly didn't want 50 Cent to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. According to what Yayo heard, Eminem stepped in and made it clear he wouldn't perform unless 50 was included. To Yayo, that felt personal. Cameron echoed similar sentiments, pointing out that Jay-Z performed at Tom Brady's Hall of Fame ceremony, but didn't show up for major hip-hop moments tied to 50. Yayo admits Jay-Z is on another level, but says visibility matters. People notice who shows up and who doesn't. Yayo also pointed out that competition between Jay-Z and 50 has always existed. From old lyrical jabs like, I'm about $1, what the F asterisk 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 is 50 Cent, to later collaborations, the rivalry never fully disappeared. Even when they worked together, the tension lingered. Despite criticism, Yayo emphasizes that G-Unit's impact can't be denied. Alongside Eminem and Dr. Dre, 50 Cent helped build one of the most dominant runs in music history. In terms of sales, influence, and cultural reach, few groups compare. Yayo says executives used to tell him something revealing, that it was important for Jay-Z to become a billionaire, not just for business, but symbolically. According to Yayo, 50 sees that same responsibility differently. For him, becoming powerful isn't just about wealth, it's about bringing people with you. And that difference in philosophy, Yayo suggests, may explain why the tension never really went away, and why 50 Cent seems willing to speak now, while others stay quiet. And I asked, why? And they said, because he wants a casino, he wants an alcohol brand, he wants this, he wants that. And I'm like, why does anybody need another casino? Casinos print money. They're perfect for laundering cash. But notice what they never say. They never say it's about building schools in black neighborhoods or investing back into the community. Instead, it's about building casinos for black people to lose money in, then selling them overpriced merchandise on top of it. That's the trap. All of it. A greed machine disguised as success.